there, guys! Welcome to the Daily Draft, where we take Magic one draft at a time. My name is Morgan, and we are in a Battle for Zendikar pack for one Swiss draft, mostly because I'm doing a bunch of PPTQs this weekend, and I'm really hoping that I make top 8, and if I do, I need to have my draft game on point. So, we are going to read all of the cards and make good choices, and I'll see you guys as soon as a couple more people join the queue. Okay, we are here for pick one, pack one. Looking at a couple of things here. There's a Rolling Thunder, fairly powerful card, regardless of what you're playing. There's a Kozilek's Channeler, which goes in basically anything. Royal Spout is also pretty powerful, but a little bit more restrictive. I think I want the Rolling Thunder. It's pretty hard commitment to red, but I do like playing red. Royal Spout is good, but Rolling Thunder is very flexible, and I can fire it off for 2 if I need to kill like 2 Nettle Drones or even 2 Cliffside Lookouts. So that flexibility is pretty nice. Not a lot going on in this pack, unfortunately. There's a Gruesome Slaughter, which can be a 6-mana Wrath in the right deck, but it takes a lot of building. There's also McKindy Slide Runner for a good aggressive deck. However, I think the pick is just Angel of Renewal. Angel of Renewal is a fairly strong card. It's a 4/4 flyer for 6, and the life swing can be pretty significant based on how stalled the board is. And the hits just keep on coming because a 4/4 flyer is really good on a stalled board. So we're going to go ahead and take it. We can follow that up with something like a Gideon's Reproach or a Sheer Drop. I think I'd rather take one of those than the Ulamog's Reclaimer, although that is pretty cool with Rolling Thunder. It's gotta be just the Gideon's Reproach here, right? It's basically destroy target attacking or blocking creature. Sanctum of Ugin, one of my favorite cards in Battle for Zendikar draft, but Gideon's Reproach is easily the best card in that pack. I think it's pretty safe to follow it up with a second one. Serene Steward is fine, but it's not great outside of the white-black life gain deck. And removal, I think, is just better than taking the Steward. Ghostly Sentinel is pretty cool, but again, I'd rather just have another piece of removal. There is an interesting couple of choices here. Outnumber and Valakut Invoker are both fine red cards. Shadow Glider is a good white card to go with our other good white cards. Halimar Tidecaller is probably the strongest card in the pack. I think it's enough stronger than either the Outnumber, the Shadow Glider, or the Valakut Invoker to make me want to take it. If we get more Blue Awaken spells, I'll be extremely happy. Here, pretty easily just taking the Shadow Glider. Expedition Envoy is not very good in a format where there's Fortified Rampart and things like Molten Nursery running around. And Shadow Glider can put a lot of pressure on your opponent pretty fast, especially if you back it up with things like Gideon's Reproach, which make racing a lot easier. Okay. Not really interested in any of these 4, and I'll play an Ondu Greathorn if I have to. Core Castigator's nice because, like Shadow Glider, it puts a lot of pressure on your opponent very early, especially if their start includes any number of Scion tokens. I'll take a third Gideon's Reproach. The thing about Gideon's Reproach is your opponent might play around the first one, but they probably won't play around the second, and they most definitely won't play around the third. So I'm pretty happy to take it over McKindy Slide Runner or Valakut Predator, especially since I'm not quite sure what my second color is going to be yet. So we didn't wheel the Royal Spout, which is kind of disappointing. Sorry, Halimar Tidecaller. I think we'd like to take the McKindy Slide Runner here. It's a bit counterintuitive, but having all these Gideon's Reproaches make having a creature with trample very attractive, and I think having another 2-drop creature to play is better than having a Vestige of Emrakul. I don't particularly want to play Goblin Warpaint. I think I'm just going to take the Tiju Stalwart. Naya Allies is an archetype that can be supported in this format, or even Green-White Allies. I'm not really dedicated to any of my second color yet. It would be nice to play Allies, because that's where the power generally comes from, but I'm not committed. Happy to take this Ondu Champion, though, because Trample is pretty good. And a Lithomancer's Focus. Yeah, I think that's worth taking over the Coral Helm Guide and the Seek the Wilds. When you're playing things like Core Castigator and Shadow Glider, you kind of need mana combat tricks to back them up. I don't want either of these cards, but I guess I take the Voracious Null because it can block Core Castigators. Now I will take the Expedition Envoy. The thing about Expedition Envoy in a deck that I could envision is it's a very cheap way to trigger ally-focused effects. Weather on Zendikar is unpredictable unless you're the one telling it what to do. Okay, so we've got a very strong ally in one of our colors plus our mild support color here, and I think that's worth taking over the Serene Steward. I like Stone Fury quite a bit, but if we're going into red, we might as well take the Munda Ambush Leader, and I think it's good enough to take it instead of kind of hoping to wheel it. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And we're going to follow that up with a Touch of the Void over a 4th Gideon's Reproach. There's a Halimar Tide color and a Benthic Infiltrator in this pack, but nothing that really stands out as making me want to take something over Touch of the Void. If I get... what's a strong green ally? Like a veteran war leader? Is that even worthwhile? Maybe not. I can't think of any really good green allies. Or really strong ally synergies. I'm looking for the more aggressive ally synergies right now. Fire Mantle Mage would be sweet, for example. And Fire Mantle Mage in the right pod seems to go very, very late. So maybe that'll happen. I'm not holding out a lot of hope. Here I'm certainly taking the Stone Fury over Tandem Tactics and a Shadow Glider. Kozilek's Channeler is fine, but I think I'd rather have removal over a non-ally creature. Core Entanglers would be nice. I'd take McKindy Patrol. McKindy Patrol is great in this sort of deck because it makes it really hard to Holy Humana. Makes it really hard to race. In this pack, I'm totally taking this Guardian of Tizim. Because, like, Sandstone Bridge and Tandem Tactics aren't really worth taking. And this card is insane. Probably not playing it. Between Blighted Gorge, Ondu Greathorn, and another Ondu Champion, I'm just going to take the ally. Yeah, let's just take the ally. I could have taken the Ondu Greathorn to kind of hedge on being blue with that Guardian of Tizim, but I think it was right to take Ondu Champion. Alright, we've got Core, Blade Whirl, and Fire Mantle Mage in the same pack. I think Fire Mantle Mage is stronger. Core Blade Whirl is a 2-drop, but Fire Mantle Mage is Gives all of your allies a lot of evasion, which is pretty strong. Notably, there's also a sheer drop, but with 3 Gideon's Reproaches and a Touch of the Void, I think I'm okay. Having a Fire Mantle Mage can make combats really hard for your opponent, especially because they don't know whether they're going to be able to block a lot of your creatures the next turn. Here I'm happy to just take a second Core Castigator. Core Castigator and McKindy Slide Runner are 2 drops that, again, make your opponent take a lot of damage. Taking 6 damage before playing a creature is pretty tough. I kind of like Tandem Tactics in this deck. We've got a lot of pretty fragile creatures, and I think Tandem Tactics does a little bit more than Looming Spires does to keep them alive, and it's a card that I don't mind playing one of. I have 10 creatures right now, but I have another pack to go. I think I take the Inspired Charge. I certainly don't want another copy of Lithomancer's Focus. I'm going to take the Spawning Bed here. I think it actually will do pretty well in this deck, especially since we're 2 colors. Wield a Shadow Glider, which makes me pretty happy. Guess I take this Goblin Warpaint and put it in my sideboard. Maybe we'll play it. Just Warpaint up this McKindy Slide Runner, or this Lava Step Raider. This is most certainly in my deck until I get one more card, probably. And Kite Sail Scout, another 1-drop. Gosh, we're so lucky. Well, she is an ally. I'd rather take the Vile Aggregate. At least it attacks. But Gideon's Reproach is probably just better in this deck. As awkward as it is, I think that's what I'd prefer to have. Maybe I'm drafting too many Gideon's Reproaches. Maybe I would have been better off with the stupid Vile Aggregate. But we don't have any other colorless creatures except for the potential creatures from Spawning Bed. So I think we're fine. So remember that time that I mentioned Veteran War Leader? I think I'm okay taking it. Maybe wheeling the Beastmaster or the Evolving Wilds? Maybe? I think the Beastmaster, the Veteran War Leader, is just too good to pass up. I think I take the Core Castigator over the Shatterskull Recruit, although after dealing with all these, our opponent might have some trouble dealing with a Shatterskull Recruit. I think I want to keep my curve as low to the ground as possible, though. Let's see. I could take a second Stone Fury. I could take a Nettle Drone. I could also take a Ghostly Sentinel, which might actually do some work in this deck, especially since I have 4 Gideon's Reproaches. So Stone Fury might not necessarily be necessary. My friends need to stop posting on Facebook. Yeah, I think I take a Ghostly Sentinel here. Having flyers is pretty important. I'm pretty excited about this Grove Tender Druids, not gonna lie. I'm going to take it and replace this foil Hondo Champion with it. I actually don't really like the McKindy Slide Runner now. And could see moving to like a green sort of base. Like 3 Core Castigators, 4 Gideon's Reproaches. Goodness, this is the most redundant deck. Like just cutting out the double red. Pretty happy with this McKindy Patrol. I'm certainly taking it over the Kozilek Sentinel and the Looming Spires. could take another Shadow Glider. Do I want to do that? I could also see taking a Courier Griffin. I think I want Courier Griffin because if I take all Shadow Gliders, I'm going to lose to the Mono Courier Griffin's deck. Which is not saying that I'm taking it because I don't want like my opponents to have it. It's saying I'm taking it because I want to be able to attack into other Courier Griffins. Guess I take the Lifespring Druid. We wielded Tajuru Beastmaster. Okay, that's great. Tajuru Beastmaster is fantastic in this deck as it is. We also wield a Shadow Skull Recruit or a Plummet. No, I'll go ahead and take the Plummet. Wow, this deck is sweet. Don't think I need this Inspired Charge, nor this Ghostly Sentinel. Maybe not a Tajuru Stalwart. I kind of want to play the Lifespring Druid as a form of mana fixing. I'm mostly white, playing some red for some pretty quality cards. I could play Scythe Leopard. I could play all of my white 1-drops. I'd be pretty happy about it, actually. Let's see. What does a white aggressive deck look like? I mean, it's not that aggressive, though. It's just got 1-drops in it. Yeah, no, cut the bad cards here. So right now, we could have a deck like this. Where we're like, Lithomancer's focusing, and Gideon's approaching, Shadow Gliding, and Life Springing, and Grove Tending. Alright. Our worthwhile allies are Munda and Firemantle Mage. Worthwhile red cards are Rolling Thunder and Touch of the Void. How powerful are these cards? In comparison to my white cards, and what would make me want to play them? I guess playing Firemantle Mage and Munda would increase the concentration of allies. And we could cut maybe a Shadow Glider and probably just Courier Griffin. Rolling Thunder and Touch of the Void are a bit trickier. I don't want to cut too many creatures, especially not allies, and I think I want the Lifespring Druid just as a mana source. Especially since Rolling Thunder is double red. If I wanted to max out on the number of allies that I was drawing, I could cut a second Shadow Glider. And maybe a Gideon's Reproach. Is Rolling Thunder too greedy? I think I like green a little bit better than I like red overall, because green has a higher capacity for going wide. But maybe red is just better. because I can cut these guys and add in removal, some big creatures, and a slide runner. Some more removal, I should say. I'll put this over here too. Overall, the curve is a little bit lower with green. Maybe green is better if we had something like Retreat to Emeria. And I should just be playing like the Goblin Warpaint deck. Maybe not even Goblin Warpaint. Maybe I'm just being silly. Cut Ondu Champion. And then have just a crap ton of creatures. I could probably get away with playing one fewer land than normal. I would kind of want to play Kitesail Scout, but that seems really bad. It's probably just the last Gideon's Reproach. It's probably not a Goblin Warpaint. Just an idea. And I still have 14 creatures here. Like, the green is a good idea, but I think the red gives me a little bit more evasion and a little bit more reach. So we're gonna go with this. I'm gonna add some basics. Also, not playing 3 colors allows me to play the spawning bed, which is something that I do think is a good idea. So we're gonna submit this, and I'll see you guys in round 1.